Today we're making an infinity scarf. Woohoo! These are super easy and very adaptable. You can make them in all different sizes and fabrics, so feel free to experiment. The size of the finished scarf I'm making here is going to be 8 inches wide by 56 inches long, and that's the total length, the full measurement of the loop. I've made this scarf thinner and thicker, in a range from about 7.5 inches to 11.5 for the width, but you can definitely go thinner or thicker if you want a different look. The measurements of our raw materials are going to be 2 times the finished measurement for the width, plus seam allowances, and then the length is the actual finished length measurement plus seam allowances. So, the fabric I'm using here isn't wide enough to cut in one piece. BTW, I'm using a heavyweight cotton interlock knit. It has more body and less drape than other knits, but this scarf works just as well with lightweight drapey fabrics, even woven fabrics. So I have my 2 pieces cut, and I'm going to line up the side seams, and then we pin. If you've cut your fabric in one long piece, you will skip this step, of course. I'm demonstrating the Dream Stitcher 787 in this tutorial, so I'm going to serge my seams, but you can just as easily use a regular sewing machine. And if you want, you can use a straight stitch. It's not that important for this scarf to stretch, so you don't have to use a zigzag stitch if you don't want to. Okay, now that I have one long rectangle, I'm going to fold hot dog style and pin along that edge. Back to the machine. Serge or sew, depending on your preference and available tools. Now the fun part. At least I think it's fun. Turn the snake right sides out. And then we're going to fold it right sides together. Here's a little trick to make it so the scarf doesn't just lay like a limp snake around your neck. Find the seams on each end of the snake and mark the opposite sides. Now twist the snake ends around so that the seams are not lined up. This is going to give the scarf a twist that will add some natural drape when you're wearing it. Next stop, pin town. Choo choo! Pin the raw edges together all the way around. But when we sew, we're going to leave a gap of about 3 to 4 inches. So we're going to leave a gap of about 3 to 4 inches. So if you need to mark that so you don't forget, do that now. Again, we stitch. More fun inside-out times. Reach into the mouth and pull out the insides, which are really the outsides, but whatever. Now we go back to our gap, and we fold the raw edges in to match whatever the seam allowance is. You can hand stitch this closed. I always say that. You can, but I never do, because psht. If you use matching thread, no one will know the difference whether you machine stitch that bad boy closed or not. Also, you can iron the seam before you sew, if you find that easier. I don't iron unless I have to because, psht. That's it. No, really. You're done. You just made a fancy pants scarf in like 10 minutes. Here are some other sample scarves I made in different fabrics so you can see the different effects. This here green scarf is a little bit wider. The finished width is about 11 inches, and it's a rayon blend knit, which has lots of drape. The skull scarf here is organza, which as you can see gives a totally different look, even though it's exactly the same scarf design. You could try the same design with fleece, sweater knits, chiffon, get wacky. Oh, and if you loop the scarf up around your head, it makes a nice sort of hat/scarf when it's cold out. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click subscribe. And for more tips, tutorials, and kick-ass sewing patterns, visit whatthecraft.com.